What's up, Saber Nation? Schultz Techno coming at you with another free piece of knowledge. Pretty much free. You pay for a parking pass, but other than that, full access. iMovie. How to take a candid and direct angle and blend them together with synced close audio. I'm on the mic and I'm talking to you. Let's get it. First of all, I want you to change shots at least 4 times between the primary and secondary angle while maintaining that close audio. I'm going to show you how to do that. Second of all, we're going to get to the export. Upload it 720p to the Schoology discussion as a self-contained file, and then also screenshot to show me in the edit window that you can do this. Hashtag let's go. So in iMovie, I have my projects. The multi-source audio sync, I already did this, exported it out, and my self-contained file is in the movies folder. So I'm going to go back to projects. I'm going to create a new project. And I'm going to import, first of all, the media that I just created, which is in my house, my OS, in the movies folder. And right now it's sorted by alphabetized, I believe. So I'm going to sort by content created. And most recent on top, this is a multi-source audio synced with secondary camera angle, Schulte. That's what I named it. Import. Selected. And I've got this coming in here, but I have to also go out and get that secondary angle. So in my project media, the only thing I've imported is this right here. I need to go to my iMovie library and grab that other piece. Now way up on top, because this is chronological, my most recent is the one that I just created. This has the good close audio.
No, I do not. It does not.
I've got to go back in time to 2018 and find those original video clips. There's for some reason 2 copies of this one in here, and then this is the secondary angle that I used, or actually it's the straight on look into the camera angle. So I'm going to grab that one. I'm just going to drag it and drop it into my Movie 2 project, which is what it's called right now. And notice this is why it duplicated. Okay, it created a copy of it, but if I go to Movie 2, I've got my 2 angles that I need. I'm going to drag this one, drop it into the timeline. This is my primary angle, or my A-roll for the interview, because it's got that good close audio.
I'm a straight on kicker.
So I'm going to split this, Command B, delete this section, and I want to find basically that same area or location for this clip right here.
Here, and he's going to hit record there, and then we're going to just do a clap, and we'll do that.
So we're going to be way ahead somewhere in here.
Like it's in between, you know, not really the full stop.
Or soccer style.
I'm a straight on kicker.
There it is. So I want to drag these handles because I don't want to bring it all in, and I'm just going to get close here. And this is a 15-second piece. And I want to cut away the first time at an appropriate part, like a normal pause in his statement. So let's start at the beginning here.
I'm a straight on kicker.
Shut up, you are kind.
So I'm going to jump to him, the straight on angle, at this point. So I'll drag this into the timeline. And what I can do here, a couple things. Command plus, I can zoom in on the timeline. And then I'm going to crank up the volume of that other clip because it's hard to visually see the wavelengths. And I might get lucky and be able to match up the wavelengths here.
Well, actually, no. I'm kind of like it's in between, you know, not really the full soccer, but kind of like right there.
So I'm quite a bit off. This is late. So I would just shift this down the line, and it looks like this chunk right here is going to line up really well. Except I'm boxed out on the end. I can't slide past my primary storyline. So let's shorten this. And now slide this ahead. And I can line up these sound waves. I can see that those chunks match. Command plus, I'll get even more detailed here. And I should be able to line up by frame. Drag this back, and it's going to be a hard cut to where he starts talking again.
I'm a straight on kicker.
Shut up, you are kind.
Well, actually, no. I'm kind of like it's in between, you know, not really.
Now that's all good, except it jumped to my audio from this source. So what I want to do is I'm going to split where I want to jump back to the primary angle again.
It's in between, you know, not really the full soccer, but kind of like right there.
After he says right there, I want to jump back. So what I'm going to do right now is split this top clip again, Command B, and then I can drop the audio out from my insert. And so I'm going to have that good quality audio because it's still up down here.
Well, actually, no. I'm kind of like it's in between, you know, not really the full soccer, but kind of like right there.
Okay.
Yep.
And now I'm going to cut back to my primary storyline. I can just drag this out of the way. This is no longer synced. Let's undo that. I'll show you a simpler way to do it. Just drag this bookend this way. I'm maintaining my sync here. It's going to jump back to this.
No, I do not. It doesn't.
Okay. Let's go to the end of his statement. And I only have to drop out audio here to sync this up. And now I've got my 4 jumps back and forth.
I'm a straight on kicker.
Shut up, you are kind.
Well, actually, no. I'm kind of like a.
That's one cut.
You know, not really the full soccer, but I'm kind of like right there.
Cut back to primary.
You don't have a block toe though.
No, I do not. It does not hit my toe. It hits right there.
All right, so I need to clean this up a little bit where he says there. Go past that. And then at the beginning he says and we'll keep that in there. So we're just jumping to him when he's talking.
Block toe though.
No, I do not.
And last issue that I would see and mention is that the color balancing and exposure between the two clips is quite a bit off. And we would have to address this a little bit beforehand. We could adjust this in our brightness settings or our saturations. We can also try and match color. So if we click this, it's going to ask us what frame do you want to match to, and I could say this one, and it darkens it considerably. It may not always be the best. Do I want to apply it? Yeah, check. We'll try it.
I'm kind of like right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have
It's better, but it's still really noticeable, and that just has to do with types of cameras we're using, exposure settings on them. In this case, this angle, here's our original exposure, was probably set to manual settings on the camera, so it just got blown out or too hot, too bright of spots from direct light. But otherwise, this is the essence of how to jump back and forth between our 2 angles once we have synced up the audio sources. Remember that we are synced here, and we could keep dragging this out and then cutting to portions that we want to jump back and forth between the angles. If we get our edits cut, our primary edits cut, we would then export this out as a file, and we could bring it back into iMovie again, and we could overlay cutaway footage, like Adam actually kicking a football on a field. That would be kind of a next step. The problem or challenge with iMovie is we can't throw a cutaway on top of a cutaway here, so we can only throw one layer of cutaway on, and that limits us to just the interview. So once we get this synced up, then we'd have to go export it out, bring it back in, so we could do another layer of cutaways. That is just one of the limitations of iMovie. So lastly, requirement for this, it's about 20 seconds long. I've jumped back and forth. Oh, it's 47 seconds. I've jumped back and forth 4 times. I can cut this off here. B, delete. Fade from black at front and back. Let's do that quick. Just to make it professional. Export file. 720 is fine. Multicam video with close source audio. Schulte. Next, it's going to go to my movies folder, save, and I will upload that to Schoology. I also need to take a screenshot, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Shift Command 4. Get the whole thing, my name up on the top. Boom. And I will upload those 2 items to the Schoology discussion. Scene.